Okay, everyone, let's get started. 6:30 exact. Okay, so today we did a bit of circle theorems last week, right? We're going to do a quick revision on that. And instead of doing more circle theorem question, I want to take you to a specific part, which it is hard to put into a specific topic. So it is circle theorem mixed with equation of a line with parallel lines and perpendicular lines. So all of that coming together. And for about 45 minutes today, we are just focusing on those filter questions, which have never been repeated before. Okay, those are called filter questions. I believe, how many of you know about that? So I call it the filter questions. We are going to go through those filter questions, all of them, which I've picked up 5 to 6 mark questions. Okay, we are going to just look into it. So before we look into it, I have to go through some context. Otherwise, when I explain the concept, you might be stuck. So before we look into all of that, we got to do some revision. All right. So with circle theorems, a quick revision, just about 5 minutes. We did the angle at the center of a circle is twice the angle at the circumference from the same arc, right? That was circle theorem, one of the circle theorem. And then we looked at a circle theorem where if you have angles formed on the circumference from in the same segment, then they are equal to each other. All right, it looks like this. So that value and that value are going to be equal. Hello, Shaki. Hello, Aisha. And we looked at angle in a semicircle is a right angle. This is an important one. All right, everyone. So they can ask you to prove this circle theorem, which we will look at later on. So this is angle in a semicircle. It's a right angle. The next one is opposite angles on a cyclic quadrilateral. So it needs to touch all four sides, all four corners, vertices need to touch on the circle. And if that is so, opposite angles will add to 180 degrees. And the next one we did, this is super, super important for today's lesson. And we discussed about the gradient. You see the radius and a tangent. If they say it's a tangent, then we know it is perpendicular. Would you all agree with that, right? Because it's the radius and the tangent is meeting at 90 degrees. So super important. There are quite a lot of questions based on this circle theorem. So this is one of the most important circle theorem for today's lesson. And of course, we did, if two tangents are drawn from an external point to a circle, then they are equal to each other. So these two tangents are coming externally from one point. The other one which we looked at was if you have a perpendicular line drawn to a chord, it will bisect the chord, which means it will cut that chord into two equal halves. So AB equals BC. This circle theorem is one of the least used circle theorems, I would say. I've never used this one for a while. And of course, the alternate segment theorem. So it says, the alternate segment says the angle between the tangent, that's the tangent, and the chord, if you consider this chord, this is the angle in between. Would you all agree with that? Yeah? Did you see that angle? That angle between the chord and the tangent is equal to the angle in the alternate segment. That's it. So this was a quick look at the circle theorems, what we did. Now, what I want to take you through is slightly different today, but it is still based on what we did. Now, look at this. When you think of parallel lines, what comes to your mind? Parallel lines, right? They have what? So if two lines are parallel, they will have, I believe these two kind of look parallel, all right? So if this is line 1, line 2, with a gradient M1, M2, we can say M1 equals M2, provided these two lines are parallel, correct? They will tell you they are parallel. So that means the gradient are equal to each other. It's not very important. I mean, it is an important concept, but we're not going to use that so much in this lesson. But we will use perpendicular lines. What do we mean by that? So we have a line just like that, and we have another line, but they both are meeting and making a 90-degree angle. Super important. So if this was line 1, this is line 2 with a gradient m1 and gradient m2. How are they related, everyone? How many of you guys know this? Hello, Aaron. How many of you guys know this? If two lines are perpendicular, Winston, very good. Yeah, they have the gradients are negative reciprocal of each other. So m1 equals minus 1 over m2, m2 equals minus 1 over m1, correct? Or if you multiply them, you will get minus 1. I want to give you some examples. What do we mean by negative reciprocal? So if m1 is, I'm going to make a list of m1 and m2, guys. If m1 is 2, what would be m2 be? That would be a minus a half. Would you all agree with that? Minus half. Don't write just a half. It's a minus half, okay? Now, if it was a, let's say 3 by 4, what is a negative reciprocal of 3 by 4? If it was a fraction, it would be minus 4 by 3. Okay, that is great. What if it was minus 5 by 2? If the first gradient was itself negative, absolutely, this will be 2 by 5. When you have negative reciprocal of a negative fraction, it would become positive. Is everyone clear on this? So these are the variations you could get, okay? Is everyone clear on this? How you got m1 to m2 provided they were negative reciprocal? Just say yes if you did understand this. Okay, great. So this is the concept. Now, let's go through some questions. I'm not going to touch on circle theorems. We will come back. If we have time, we will come back and do some circle theorems. But for now, I want to go through a quick example of parallel lines. Couple of parallel lines, couple of perpendicular, and then we will start our lesson. So this is an intro, what's going on. So a straight line L is parallel to the line, this one. So we do have a line, 2y plus 8x equal to 5. That's one of our line. And there is another line which is parallel to that one. This is L. L passes through a point 2, 3. Work out the equation of L. What is the gradient of L, everyone? So we will take that 2y plus 8x equal to 5. What should we do to make the gradient here? We got to make y the subject, right? So we got to make y the subject. So 2y equals minus 8x plus 5. Who said minus 8? Such, y equals, what do you guys think? It's a minus 4. Minus 4x plus 5 by 2. Would you all agree with that? Now we know the gradient is minus 4. So the gradient of L is also minus 4. So we could say, what is the general equation of L? That would be in the form y equals mx plus c. And we are given with that point. You see that 2, 3, that was given to us in order to find C, the y-axis intercept of the white line. So we will do 3 equals ms minus 4 times 2 plus c, and that would be 3 equals minus 8 plus c. The value of c is 11, and the equation is y equals minus 4x plus 11. Would you all agree? Did you guys understand it? Why would it not be 1 by 4? Because, Afnan, this is not perpendicular lines. These are parallel lines, correct? That's why. Did you understand? It says parallel. So read the question very well. Okay, so that is all about a parallel line. Let me go through another one. It is exactly the same one, slightly different. Let's have a quick look on this. The straight line L passes through a couple of points given. So I like to visualize it. 2 points, minus 2, 3, 6 and 9. Okay. Find an equation of the line that is parallel to L. So this is L, and I have another line which is parallel to that. Passes through the point 5 minus 1. Put your answer in that form. Okay, so in this case, we got to find the gradient of the yellow line, right? What is the gradient formula, everyone? M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? We've got to find the gradient of the yellow line. We are given with 2 points. If you're given with 2 coordinates, you can use this formula to work out the gradient. So what is the gradient? I'm going to consider this is my point number 2. This is my point number 1, okay? For now. You could do the other way around, not a problem. So that will be 9 minus 3 divided by 6 minus 2, which is 6 out of 8. And that weighs 3 by 4. 3 by 4. Would you all agree with that? Vinay, how did you get 2 by 3? Okay, so that is my gradient. What should be the gradient of the white line now? The gradient of the white line would be the gradient. Yes, it would be. The gradient of the white line is 3 by 4 as well because it is parallel. Now we will use the general form y equals mx plus c, and we will replace the m and this coordinate here. So we will have minus 1 equals 3 by 4 times a 5 plus c. Put that in your calculator. This isn't a calculator paper, so you can use your calculator. So I'm putting minus 1 minus a fraction of 15 over 4. When you put that in, the value of c you would get is minus 19 over 4, okay? So this would be y equals, allow me to write the rest of it here, guys. Just a second. I'm going to put that here. So from there, we are writing y equals m is 3 by 4x minus 19 over 4. Not just done yet. Dhridi, you do not want to use decimal here. Do you know why? Look at it. Look at the question. You see, we need it in that form. Okay. And you see a common denominator there. So we could write y equals 3x minus 19 divided by 4. 4 will cross multiply. Is it possible to write this entire thing as, watch what I'm doing, 3x minus 4y equals 19. And it's in that form now. How many of you understood this? Did you guys understand this? Any questions on that? Yeah, Furkan? Let me know. Yes, that's absolutely fine if you got it the other way around. Not a problem. When I double check it, there could be an issue somewhere. Okay, so that is to do with parallel lines. We will be going through this, but we want to go check out a bit of perpendicular lines as well. Oh, 1 second. That is a hard one. I don't want to go through that just yet. Okay, these are all hard questions. So are you all ready to go through? 1 second, everyone. There we go. That's the one I wanted. This is with perpendicular lines. So we have L1. This is L1 given an equation y equals 3x minus 4. A straight line L2, which is, not parallel, perpendicular. So this is L2, making a nice 90-degree angle. L2 is perpendicular to L1, passing through a point 9,5. Work out the equation of L1. So L2, guys, what is the gradient of L2? What would be the gradient of L2? I want everyone to just type in. Absolutely, it is minus 1 by 3. So therefore, y equals minus 1 by 3x plus c, correct? We want to work out, what do we have to work out now? We want to work out c. And how do we do that? we replace x and y from the point which is given. Now, a quick question. Why are we subbing in this value? Why should we sub in that specific value into this equation of L2? Why could we? Do you know? Absolutely, June. Because that point is on that line, which means that x and that y value will always be a solution of that straight line. Make sense? That's why. So we will substitute now. That would be 5 equals minus 1 by 3 times 9 plus c. 5 equals minus 3 plus c. C equals 8. Equation is y equals minus 1 by 3x plus 8. Done. Any questions? Are you comfortable with this? Just say yes if you are okay. Yeah, everyone? Jack, Chris, all okay? Alana? Okay, now we are starting our lesson. Not this one. There we go. 4 marks, 5 marks, 6 questions. 4 marks, 5 marks, 6 more questions. And it is the other one. Both are same, isn't it? Okay, let's read through. The center of a circle with a point coordinates. Oh, I don't like this question now. Circle center minus 1, 3. Okay, we need diagram for this with the coordinates. So that line is done. Point A with coordinates lies on the circle. Now I'm just assuming that point's here, 6, 8. Okay. Find an equation to the tangent to the circle at A, which is point A. This is point A. So there's a tangent to the circle at A, and I'm drawing that like this. Okay, everyone? And we want to work out the equation of the tangent, which is the green line. This is all we are given. Why do we have a circle given here, guys? And the center point is also given to us. What do you guys think? What is the connection? It is exactly what we did before, right? But one more step. Firstly, we will connect the center point to this point like this. Yellow right now, Aaron, it is not bisecting. The yellow right now is what? It's the radius. It's the radius, absolutely. Now, the radius is always perpendicular to a tangent according to the circle theorem. Would you all agree with that? Okay, so now I'm going to call the yellow line R. Gradient of R. Can we find the gradient of R? Using the gradient formula, because 2 coordinates are available to us. Okay, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And that would be, would I be okay to write 8 minus 3 over 6 minus 1, 5 over 7. Is that all right? How many of you got this? Anyone stuck at this point? So this is the gradient of that radius. You got it. You got it. Okay. You see how we're progressing? Yes. One sugar, that the yellow line is the radius. And we worked out the gradient of the radius. Okay. When I will check on that. There should be some mistake in there. Any questions on this so far? Okay. Now, what should be the gradient of the tangent here? Gradient of tangent, the green line, absolutely. I'm writing MT, okay, for you to identify gradient of a tangent. That'll be minus 7 over 5. Did you all understand the connection here? Okay. Now it's super easy. We got to find the equation of a tangent, which is in the form y equals mx plus c. We know the gradient. What should we replace y and x with? There is one point passing through that tangent. Yeah? Venujan, I will answer that. Yes, it is the 6 and 8, isn't it? We will replace 6 and 8. So y is 8, m is minus 7 over 5 times x is 6 plus c. Put that in your calculator, work out the value of c, okay? So minus 7 divided by 5 times 6, and that value, you're going to 8. That would become positive minus your answer. I'm getting 82 over 5. Would you all agree with that? The value of c is 82 over 5. Okay, we don't want decimals, everyone. Furkan, how I got this, it's the negative reciprocal of it. Remember? This to that is negative reciprocal. Got it? That's how I got it. Okay. Okay. Now I got C. So the equation will look like this. Y equals minus 7 over 5x plus 82 divided by 5. Why did I want to leave it in a fractional form? Because we want the common denominator to be 5. Okay. So y equals minus 7x plus 82 whole divided by 5, cross multiply, and you can put it into that form. Okay, so when you do that, that'll be 5y equals minus 7x plus 82. And if you kind of rearrange it, you could write 7x plus 5y minus 82 equal to 0. We're done. 3, you got it. Did everyone get this? So what did we do? Absolutely super important. We need a diagram. Samuel, you see, this is already negative, isn't it? When you take it to the other side, it would be positive. Okay? Yeah. All right. So now, firstly, I'll take you through that for just a second. We need a diagram. So if you see a circle equation given like that, you need a diagram to digest it properly. Otherwise, you might not have, the ideas will not pop up. Okay, diagram is important. Diagram don't carry any marks, but for you to understand the question, I'll take you through some more. You need a diagram. Okay, why do we do negative reciprocal? Because nowhere in the question it says, Akshar, it is perpendicular. But we know from the circle theorem that a tangent, you see the green line here, this is a tangent, and the yellow line, it is a radius, right? And therefore it must be negative reciprocal. How would you know if the first gradient or radius or what did you mean? Okay, I got you. How would you know this one is the gradient of the radius, isn't it? Is that what you meant? Because we are using these 2 points. You see that? So it's the points that are connected to each other you would be finding the gradient of. Make sense? Okay. Do you need to explain circle theorem in this question? No, you don't need to. Okay, so how do you know when you keep the y-intercept of the tangent as a function? We are finding, Gurdashan, we are finding the gradient finally, and we have to work out the c value separately. That is the y-intercept. Okay, so how do you know when to find it? Firstly, you need to work out the gradient, and then you will replace the purpose of replacing this point into that equation is to find the y-intercept. So if you're finding any equation, you have to know the y-intercept. Okay, so let me take you through another question and you guys will be all right. Now this same question is not going to repeat, so we're going to look at a different model. Okay, let us do this. I think this is pretty much the same one, but for 5 marks. It is exactly the same one. So we're going to skip this. We will come back, okay? All right, let's look at this one now. Ooh. So for those of you know, this is equation of a what? It's a circle, correct? It says it's a circle. So I'm going to draw the diagram for you guys, okay? So if this was an exam, I would do exactly same as I'm doing now. I would draw a circle. Okay. What is the radius, guys? By looking at that equation, what is the radius? What do you guys think? 2 minus 2 minus 2. How did you get that? X squared plus y squared equal to r squared is the general form of equation of a circle. So over here, we are given 4, which means r squared is your 4. That means the radius is 2. Okay, did you guys get that? But you don't need to write that down now. Okay, you don't need to write that down. You just need to know that. That means that needs to be processed already. So this is our diagram. Now look at P. P is given in a weird way. 3 by 2 root of 7 over 2 is a point on L. Where do you guys think that point would be? I would say that would be I would say that point would be here, correct? Because this is positive and this is positive. 2 points are positive and it's a point on L. Find an equation of that tangent. Would you all agree with me? Did you understand this? 3 by 2 and root of 7 over 2. Is everyone with me on that? Asa, what happened? So this is the equation of a circle. Did you understand how I drew the circle? Is that okay? Now, all I'm saying to you, you see this 3 by 2 and root of 7 over 2. They both are positive numbers, isn't it? Root of 7 is a positive number. Divided by 2, it's a positive number. Anyway, both are positive. And the coordinate have to be somewhere here. It cannot be here, it cannot be here, it cannot be here, because negatives are involved. Got it? So I kind of just, this diagram is not to requirement. Now, it doesn't really matter where you put it, because they're not asking you to sketch anything. So wherever you put, it doesn't really matter. Find the equation of a tangent. So we got to find the equation of this tangent. So firstly, what should we do? What should we do? We got to draw the radius. Do you see that red line, guys? That is a radius. Now, we will work out. So the question is, remember what the question is. Question is to work out the equation of the green line, which is our tangent, and that's in the form y equals to mx plus c. Just letting you know, when you have y equals to mx plus c, you got to work out what is m and what is c, and then you're done. Okay, so in order to work out the m, we will work out the gradient of the radius. And what's the coordinate here? 0, 0, correct? That's the origin. So gradient of radius, m equals, what would that be, guys? Root of 7 over 2 minus 0 divided by 3 by 2 minus 0. Would you all agree with that? Which will flip over. So that'll be root of 7 over 2 times 2 by 3, which is simply reciprocal when you have a fraction over a fraction, right? And that is root 7 over 3. That is your gradient of the radius. M, let me write that down, m of r. Gradient of the radius is root 7 over 3. No, we can't use Pythagoras to work out the gradient at this point. No. Okay. So how does that do? When you have a fraction x over y divided by m over n, when you divide a fraction over a fraction, what will happen? You will flip the second fraction and multiply that, isn't it? So x over y times n over m. Remember this? And then you multiply top to top, bottom to bottom. That's what you would do. So in this specific case, you had root 7 over 2 whole divided by 3 by 2, which is root 7 over 2 times 2/3. Is that okay, Isa? Yeah. That's the explanation for that. So we worked out the gradient of the red line, which is the gradient of the radius. So what should be the gradient of the green line, guys? Gradient of tangent must equal to -3 over √7. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Once you go, I just multiplied these two straight away. The 2 and the 2 would cancel off. Okay, great. How did you get 2/3? Because I flipped the last fraction. So if you're having that, okay, how many of you have issues here? Right there. You see that? That means you have issue. If you have some issue, like you didn't understand it, oh, you didn't get it, we got to review division of fractions. Okay? Division of fractions. Did you guys understand that? And √7 isn't, yeah, this is √7. Okay, so we flip it. That is the gradient of the tangent. And now we have the equation with us. Y equals mx plus c. We're going to replace x and y. Do you see that? Because that is the point. This is the point on the tangent which needs to be substituted into. So what is our y value? √7 over 2 equals gradient is -3 over √7 times x is 3/2 plus c. And absolutely you can use a calculator to work this out. So √7 over 2 plus 9 over 2 √7 equals to c. I'm going to put that in my calculator for now. And we will leave the answer in terms of surds itself. We don't want to work it out in decimals for now. So 9 over 2 √7. And that is giving me the value of c as 8 √7 over 7. Okay, everyone okay with this? Now, this one is kind of like already, so isn't -3 times -3? Yes, but I've taken it to the other side. I've already taken it to the other side, isn't it? In that one step. Yes, so it would become positive. Okay, so what else now, guys? We're nearly there. Y equals, what is the gradient here? -3 over √7, x plus 8 √7 over 7. And that is it. That is the equation of the tangent. So let me go through it really quick firstly. So equation of a circle was given. I just drew it. And I knew a tangent needs to be drawn because it says find the equation of the tangent to L at point P. So this is my point P here. Okay, marked it. Is everyone okay with the diagram? No problem with it? Yeah, all okay? So first thing to do is to work out the gradient of the radius. Why would you do that? Because you always need to. That's why we have looked at the circle theorem. You see that line? That is your radius. This is the tangent. They always make a 90-degree. Therefore, they are perpendicular lines. The gradient, what? The gradient must be negative reciprocal. You need to know that. That is the connection of the whole question. And therefore, you have worked out the gradient of your radius first. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. One of your point is 0, 0 because that it is going through the origin. That's why you have taken 0, 0. Okay? And after that, once you worked that out, you took a negative reciprocal, and this is the gradient of your tangent. And simply substitute the points, you're there. Now, you see this question is very, very complicated. Not very, very, but still a bit more complicated because they have put everything in terms of surds, correct? So surds make it a bit more complicated. Imagine if this was just a number, it would be fine. But things are a bit more complicated because it's a surd question. So they can test you on surds like this. So there is surds in here. There is a bit of circle theorems in here. And there is perpendicular lines in here. And of course, there is equation of a straight line. So multiple topics coming together. Is this clear, guys? So look at how this question was worded. Yes, absolutely, Furkan. Okay, so this look at how this question was worded. I want to go back to the previous one. Look at how this question was. Didn't we do the exact same thing for both questions? The steps. Look at it. Yeah, they look. No, I meant the steps, the working out. We worked out the gradient of the radius. Remember, you see, gradient of the radius. We worked out gradient of the tangent, negative reciprocal. We replaced it. We worked out the value of c. We found the equation. Question given to you in a different way. Now, the same question is worded differently. Right there. The same question with equation of a circle now given to us, a point on the circle, everything has changed. But the working out is exactly the same thing. Any questions on this? So if those of you are asking me how I worked out right at the end, hold on. You see this one? I just replaced all of it. I multiplied this. That's how I'm getting this 9. Multiplied that. That's how I'm getting it. And whatever that fraction was, I took it to the other side. I did not write that simple step. We don't need to write every single step in there. There won't be any space left over. So you can put this in your calculator, even work it out. So I worked out the value of c and put it together, and you're done. Farkan, the working out is not going to be the same for all questions. It can be different for different questions. I just picked up questions and they happen to be the same working out for now. Okay, did everyone understand this? Eldos? Yeah, Damon? Next one. Next one. Before we get to this one, I want to go through a specific question, guys. Give me, yeah, this is the one. Example number 6 here. Past exam questions. I didn't make up these questions, all right? Prove algebraically the straight line with this equation is a tangent to the circle. Okay, so we have a circle and this is a tangent. How do we prove it is a tangent to the circle? There are 2 ways to do this, but I want you guys to think about it. How can we prove? Can you give me some idea, guys? How can we prove that this red line with an equation x minus 2y equals to 10 is a tangent? Okay, Farkan, maybe, and then what? Okay, Zaina, I like that. I like that one, Zaina. Okay. They share the same point from the straight line. Very good, but they could share a couple of points, Akshaya, right? You see, if I draw something like that, now there are 2 points we're sharing, isn't it? Okay, so how about, I'm going to give you an idea, all right? We know a tangent is only touching once, correct? And also, we know that if we draw, and if you see this equation of a line, equation of a circle. Okay, what do you think if I draw a radius like this? This is 0, 0. Would you all agree with that? Yeah, you all agree with that. Okay, but do we know where it is touching? Do we know the coordinate of this point? And that restricts us from knowing something. What do you think? because this line could be anywhere. I don't know where it is going to be, but this is restricting us from something. Knowing the gradient, we will not be able to work out the gradient here. Correct? If let's just imagine, pretend everyone, if this was 2, 3, just for now, okay? We know the gradient. That's 3 by 2. Would you all agree with that? Yeah, it's a 3 by 2. And then we could check the gradient of the red line. And if they were negative reciprocal, then it is a tangent. Correct? But there is a problem. That method itself is wrong, because if I had this line like this, it will still give me negative reciprocal. Do you see that, everyone? But it is not a tangent. Are you with me on that? So you can have a tangent to a radius being perpendicular, but it is not actually a tangent. Okay, so you got to be careful with what the question is asking us. So therefore, I rule out that the tangent must be just over there. What do we do? Watch this. It says algebraically, okay? Use Pythagoras, I'm not too sure. Watch this. We have x squared plus y squared equals to 20, correct? And we have x. If I make x the subject, would you all agree the second equation would look like that? And we're going to substitute it. Watch where I'm going. I'm going to replace this instead of that x over there. Instead of the x, I'm just going to substitute it. And when we do that, we will have 2y plus 10 the whole square plus y square equals to 20. Would you all agree with that? Now, what is the next, very next obvious step? Very next obvious step to expand. That would be 4y squared plus 40y plus 100. Oops, sorry. Plus y squared equals to 20. Simplifying this is simultaneous equation. Exactly, Samuel. Okay, so this would become 5y squared plus 40y plus 80 equal to 0. Okay? And I'm going to simplify this with a 5y squared plus 8y plus 16 equal to 0. And when you work out what is a sum, guys, the sum is 8, the product is 16, numbers are going to be 4 and 4. So this means not x, the value of y must be minus 4, and the value of y must be minus 4. Don't you think so? Did you guys understand what I did? These are what we call as repeated roots. How many of you have learned about this? This repeated roots. Do you know about this? No. Okay, so do you see this equation through the year? Y squared plus 8y plus 16. Did you notice that? Yeah, that equation. I'm going to go to my GeoGebra and let's plot it quickly. Oh, give me a second, guys. So that was x squared plus 4. Was it 4 or 8? That was 8, isn't it? 8x plus 16. Do you see that curve is touching where? Only once. So how many solutions are there for this curve, for this quadratic curve? Did you understand? It has only one solution, which means you only have one specific solution, no two solution. So this is what we call as repeated roots. Okay, you will get two roots. Let me close that. Let's pick this up. You will get two roots, but they are repeated. Get it? Which means you don't have two separate solutions when you solve this quadratic equation, but one solution, which means it is a tangent because you only have one solution. Only one point is available for us. Did you guys get it? Isn't it only one root? Yes, only one root. That we also said it is repeated roots. Did you understand this question? How many of you understood what I just went through? So y equals -4. So y equals -4, right? And you would say, you would write a sentence. These are repeated roots. Therefore, x minus 2y equals to 10 is a tangent to x squared plus y squared equals 20. That's it. You don't have much to do anyway. All I've done is I've replaced that in here. Now, here's the part. If ever they ask you a question to prove this is a tangent, is everyone paying attention to this? I want to give you a variation of the same question. Okay, watch this. If they ask you, prove an equation of a line is a tangent to the circle, you will go through this. And if you have repeated roots, which means the same roots coming up, then it is a tangent. Now, how would you prove it is not a tangent? What if the question comes, this is not a tangent? Prove algebraically this is not a tangent. Absolutely, everyone. You will get not repeated roots, you will get two different roots, which means your tangent is passing at two different points on the circle. Did you guys get it? But the exact same, you will go through the exact same working out. Could we make y the subject in the first equation and substitute that? Yes, you can, but you will have fraction, Vanshiga. You don't want fraction in this question. If you make y the subject, you see that 2? Don't you think we need to divide it? Funkan, yes, I would recommend, when it is a proof question, I would recommend to write that one. Any questions? How was this question? Is it clear for you? Everyone, did you understand this? Again, you see, we're not solving one type of question now. All the questions are different, but I'm showing you, what I want you to understand is the thought process, where it's going, how it is coming through. Now you understand if they ask you to prove it's a tangent or not a tangent, it is what? It is simply simultaneous quadratic equation with a sentence written down. Got it? A circle, a line, simultaneous quadratic equation to prove if it's a tangent or not. Okay. I've been talking too much today. How do the repeated roots tell us this is a tangent? Great question. You see, when you have the same roots, that means it's this quadratic equation has only one solution. That means, where is the quadratic equation formed? It is formed from substitution of the line and the circle, isn't it? So it will tell us the solution. How many solution are you going to get? You see, if you work out the point with y being -4, the value for x is going to be, if I'll give you an idea, so this will be super clear just after that. Give me 1 sec, okay? Let me rub off what is unnecessary. All right, you see this one? X is equal to 2 times -4 plus 10. X is equal to -8 plus 10. The value of x is 2. So you see this point, the coordinate of it is 2 and -4. Would you all agree with that? That coordinate is 2 and -4. Get it? Okay. And if you replace the other root, it is again 2 and -4. That's why we call it a repeated root. So it means it's the same point. It's only one point. Okay? Great. Can it also be 4, 4? No. we would write it as y plus 4 equal to 0. But when you solve it, it will be, the sign would change, isn't it, Rajiva? Is everyone clear with this? Time flies, guys. I would recommend you guys to please stay another 5 minutes, okay? Because we have an important question coming up. I have to go through this one. Where is that? Where is that? Hold on. I'll have to find that question with you. My apologies, guys. I believe that was this one. That's the one. That's the one. This is a mistake, guys. This is a 6-mark question. I think my editor made a mistake. It's a 6-mark question, okay? Example 8, past exam question. We don't need any more knowledge from what we know, but what I want you to understand and watch if you struggle with this question is my thought process. Where am I getting started? Okay, everyone, shall we get started? ABC with coordinates are vertices of a right triangle ABC. Straight away, I need a diagram. That is not a right triangle. Now it is a right triangle, A, B, C. I would also, for now, just put in the coordinates. A has a coordinate -2, 1. B has a coordinate 6, 5. C has a coordinate 4, K. Okay. Angle ABC is right angle. So you see B is right angle. Find an equation of the line that passes through AC. So there is a line that is passing like this. That's passing through AC. One sec. We got to find the equation of this red line and put it in that format. Are you guys there? There's no chats coming through. Okay. What should we do? How would you find the equation of this line? How many of you would struggle with this? Deepesh, too fast for me. Oh, okay, you would struggle. Okay. For those of you who would struggle a little bit, okay, watch my thought process. Firstly, I got to find the equation of this red line. Is the diagram too hard for you to draw? No, right? You need a diagram. Okay, you need a diagram. It's just not for the marks. The diagram don't carry any marks, but they have mentioned all of it. It is for your brain. Now, I'm not going to read this 100 times. I'm just going to read it once, and I'm going to the diagram. Equation of this red line is in the form y equals to mx plus c. Would you all agree with that? I need to find the gradient of this red line. Okay, let's focus on the gradient for now. For working out the gradient of that red line, I need 2 points, don't you think? If we know 2 points, we can work out the gradient. So A is there. The next point is C, but there's a K there. K is a problem, which means we got to find K first. Okay? Absolutely. Now, here's the thing. Don't you think this is rise over run? But again, remember one thing. It could be, but we got to find the value of K. How would you find the value of K? How would you find the value of K? Now, guys, listen. This is a diagram I've drawn. Do you think this point is straight right on top of it? This is for you to just work it out. It is not. So it is not actually drawn properly. Okay. This is for you guys to quickly understand. Would you all agree? If I work out the gradient of AB, don't you think that would be a negative reciprocal of BC? And I can work out C from there, the K value from there. Okay. So we don't need to write tons and ton of information. You could write gradient, watch this, M of AB. That is the gradient of AB. So I'm considering this as my point 2, and let's go for the other way around. This is my point 2, this is my point 1, okay? So that would be 5 minus 1 over 6 minus 2. 4 over 8, which is a half. Would you all agree with that? Simple, one line. Which means gradient of BC must equal to minus 2. Negative reciprocal. Negative reciprocal. Is that okay, everyone? Yeah, the gradient of AB is a half. Gradient of BC is negative reciprocal. Now, what that means is minus 2 must be equal to, you see, I'm going to make a formula for the gradient. Don't you think K minus 5 over 4 minus 6? Did you understand what I did over there? I just used the gradient formula between these 2 points. Just say yes if you understood what I did there. Okay, now we can find K now. Minus 2 equals K minus 5 over minus 2. Cross multiply, that becomes a 4 equals K minus 5. K is 9. K is 9. Why do we need to know K now? So K is 9, okay? Because we need to find the gradient of the red line. I'm going to find gradient of, what is a red line called? Red line. I'll call it red line for now. Okay, the gradient of red line is MR equals what, guys? That would be 9 minus 1 over 4 minus 2 now. Do you see that? Because I've worked out the value of K as 9 right there, and I substituted it. It's 9 now. So 9 minus 1 divided by 4 minus 2. MR, which is the gradient of the red line, equals 8 over 6. And that is 4 by 3. Okay, we worked out the gradient. Now, what should we do? So the equation is half complete. You see this equation is half complete. Y equals 4 by 3x plus c. What should we do to work out the value of c? We're going to substitute x and y, isn't it? We could do that here, or we could do that here. It's up to you. We could do A for now. There's no extra page. Hold on a sec. Okay. I believe you guys are with me. Yeah. So y equals 4 by 3x. Oops. Plus c. That's what we have. And I'm going to replace x as minus 2 and y as 1 for now over here. Okay. So y is 1. 4 by 3 times minus 2 plus c. You can work out the value of c. Did anyone work out the value of c? 1 plus 8 over 3. That is 11 over 3. 11 by 3. Okay, and there we go. Y equals 4 by 3x plus 11 by 3. You got to remember to put it in the other form. This would be y equals 4x plus 11 divided by 3. Cross multiply. 3y equals 4x plus 11. And I guess that's it. But did you understand my thought process on what I did, how I did it, why they have mentioned perpendicular, right triangle? All right. So the idea of this one, last bit again, of course, I can explain. Just a second, guys. My eyes are just itchy. Furkan, the gradient of BC and AB, because they are perpendicular, this is a right angle triangle. Don't you think they are meeting 90 degrees? So the gradients are negative reciprocal. We have been doing that from the beginning. Got it. How did I get 11 over 3? Where was that? Oh, I put this in a calculator. So how did I get it? I'll put that there. 1 equals minus 8 by 3 plus c. Take that to the other side. 1 plus 8 over 3 equals to c. I put that in the calculator. So this is 11 over 3. And that goes back there. Got it? Yeah. I will be posting this type of question. Oh yes, Afak. If you rearrange it, it is in that form. Absolutely. Why couldn't K have been 5? I'm not too sure where you made a mistake. I'm not too sure. Oh, did you mean this line? Did you because you thought it is in line, so the y coordinate was the same? Is that what you meant? No, Trisha, it's not like this. The whole thing could could have looked something like this. You see, it may have looked like this. I don't know. I just drew a right angle triangle and I drew the line. Remember, it is not exactly, this is not a vertical line. This is not a vertical line just like that. Got it? Yes, absolutely. Let's go through the steps really quick again. So it is 7:30. If you guys understood the question, feel free to shoot off. But if you did want me to go through this, I'm just going to quickly go through it. So please be with me. Trisha, did you get it? Winston? Okay. So what I did, I drew this diagram, okay? ABC. So my point is this entire thing, resize, could have looked, not resize really, I want to rotate it. It could have looked like this. Did you get it? Make sense now? It might look like that, I don't know. So, but for my understanding, when I drew it quickly, I just drew it like that. Harris, no worries. See you then. So I've worked out AB, but why did I work out the gradient of AB? Because two coordinates are available to me. That's why. And I know if K is given in a question, you got to find it out, right? If there is an unknown in a question, normally you have to work it out. So it's there. Although they're not asking, find the value of K, you got to work it out. It's there in the question. So because this is perpendicular to that one, I worked out the gradient of AB, worked out the gradient of BC. Now I knew if I know the gradient, I can work out the coordinate. Don't you think so? If you have 2 points, one coordinate is unknown, but you know the gradient, you could then work out that missing gradient. That's what I did over there. This is the gradient equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's what it is. And I worked out the value of k. Simple algebra there. Got it? Once I worked out the value of k, now I have two things with me. I have one coordinate right there available, and I found the full coordinate for C. So now I do have two coordinates of a line. I can find the equation of that line. Done. I found the gradient, substituted one of the point to find the y-intercept, and we are done.